here in sunny San Diego, California, and of course, that's 40% of the band Sullivan.
There you go.
Good, strong percentage.
Did you hear that? Dickie got to meet legendary radio DJ Shotgun Tom Kelly
I was
today?
thrilled. Yeah.
Wasn't that amazing?
It was exciting. Yeah.
He started right here in San Diego.
Okay.
Yeah.
KCBQ radio. He was a huge icon here with everything from, I remember, I was thinking Sweating to the Oldies, but that was Richard Simmons. He had something like Disco 10 on Channel 10.
Yeah.
And he was the guy that premiered in the entire country John Lennon's song, Imagine.
Right.
But
Yeah.
mistitled it Imogene.
Imaging. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
That's what he said. It's crazy stuff.
Probably the one song that you can never mess up.
And he was talking about.
Imagine doing that to Imagine.
Yeah, and they flew it in. I've heard the story a million times, but they flew it in on the old PSA Airlines into San Diego.
Okay.
And then they took it there from some guard truck, and then it was back in the day when they had a big stick up in there, and there was before consolidation. So they had all these little radio stations on these little prairies. And here in the city of San Diego, there's a place called Santee, which is out kind of East County, which is a great city. But at the time, there was nothing there but this little building with a stick. That's where Imagine was debuted in this country, and it was debuted as that hit single Imogene.
Oh my.
By Shotgun.
By Shotgun Tom Kelly.
And this was back in the day when calling yourself Shotgun or Gun,
Yeah.
Gun, using that as a name was cool.
When you guys,
What do you mean? What do you mean there, Dickie?
I'm sorry, Guns.
But here's my question.
I apologize, Guns.
When the Mighty Mighty Bosstones had hit #1 on Billboard with the impression that I get,
Okay.
you were all over the country in radio stuff. You were in
Yeah.
front of those guys all the time. That was a big deal back then.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, it's not so much these days. You don't see that. You don't see that as much now, do you?
You know what? And to be fair, yeah, probably things are definitely different. But at the time, when it's happening and you're in the middle of that storm, you kind of just go about life and you don't really think of it. But when I look back and say, oh my God, I
miss seeing artists like that.
top of the
Like
chart.
which is why your show's so important, guys.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, you're right. Going to those radio shows and those radio dates or whatnot is pretty much how you built it out. It's all that. It started as a DIY movement into being able to get radio support when radio was actually radio.
See, because you're doing what the Gun Show does. Your daytime job.
Yeah.
The Gun Show does that. Like
Right.
back in the day when they used to just interview and talk about music.
Talk about music, bring in the best of the old, the best of the new, and the best of what's to come. You're able to break those artists, but also get that direct feedback rather than people calling in. You're getting live tweets from people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So rather, you take listener calls. No, it's like now you're getting them via social media, and also you can talk to anybody at any point in the whole entire globe, pretty much, which is also very cool.
I think you do it excellently.
I think
I
you do.
want you to stop bragging, but let me brag for you.
Okay.
I think you do.
Thanks, man.
I think you do a really good job.
Thank you. And there's also a reason why you've never been a guest on yet. You know what I mean?
thank
So,
Wow.
But
That's
actually,
rough.
That's not true.
But-
That's not true.
No, I'll tell you though, for a band like Sullivan, who is what you did for a small nobody band. I mean, the power.
Sully's
of that.
been on. I had Sully on. One of my highest rated episodes ever. But no, not you. But not you.
But the point is I think that's what's needed for artists because we consume music differently these days. We don't go to the record store anymore. We don't listen to the radio as much anymore. We're downloading everything, and we need more of that. I think that's what. Speaking of that,
Do you miss it?
when I did radio,
No, music as you used to know it.
I miss going to the record stores. I for sure miss Tower Records.
Right.
I for sure miss. I remember. It's so funny because your song when I was doing talk radio was my rejoiner music when you come back from commercial break.
Yeah.
And I remember having that. What do they call it? The gem cover, or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
That's
Jewel case.
Jewel
Jewel
case.
case, yeah.
I remember that. And I remember how
Old
cool it
terms
was.
for the kids.
Yeah.
And every time you got a new one, you had to reslot them when you
Yeah.
got home. There was a whole thing that you did.
Yeah.
And then before then, it was records, the albums and stuff like that.
Just going home, like carrying the actual physical product and going home and thinking, like I know this one I heard on the radio, but what are all these other songs? And that's
Well, that's the other too, is the deep track stuff.
Yeah.
And then also, that's what these guys look like. Because look at, even before video, all we had is lyric sheets. I mean,
I can't go that far back.
I can go, but I can go back to the point where I can say this. I didn't know, I know what Dave Grohl's living room looks like.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Right.
I mean, because we're so inserted because of the way we consume music these days.
Yeah.
Speaking of consuming music, Randy Nichols is a guest. He's got it coming up.
Yeah, Randy Nichols, absolute star. He's a star artist manager. We can ask him about, hey, does radio still matter as much as it used to? He's been in the radio, he's brought plenty of bands to there, but he's also, the big thing, especially for fans out there, I'm sure the audience out there, I don't know about you, but ticket prices are out of control. I don't care if it's for musicians, bands, sporting events. He's actually the head of the National Independent Town Organization. He's one of the members there, and he's going to talk about what is actually happening within the ticketing lobby, the ticketing industry. He spoke on Capitol Hill about it. We're going to get to the bottom of that too.
Randy joins us right now. I think is Randy.
Oh, there he is right there. I thought we were shooting to him. There we go. Randy, what's up, buddy? How are you?
What's up, Guns?
How
Good
are
to
you?
see you, my
Welcome
former
aboard.
intern.
Good. It's myself. Yeah, myself, Dickie Bear from My Boss, and of
Randy.
course Sully. And yes, I was Randy Nichols' intern back in the day. Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. I can't remember. Well, look, I'm in this business. I haven't had to pay for a ticket for a while because I always go backstage. And by the way, if you ever get the chance to go backstage and watch a concert, don't, because it sounds horrible.
Yeah.
It looks crappy. There's picnic tables and bad food.
You're
All
gonna
the fun.
run into people like me.
Which is not a bad thing, but I tell people
don't wanna
the
do
music
that.
industry is highly unimpressive. All the fun's happening out front, I promise. But I can tell you, when's the last time somebody bought a ticket, like from a StubHub or from a Ticketmaster, and actually paid what it actually said on the ticket?
Right. Yeah.
Randy, talk about what your
Yeah,
what's your
Randy,
movement?
what's the deal, man? Why is everything so expensive these days when all we want to do is enjoy our favorite artists?
Yeah, well, the first thing is you said something interesting, Sully. You said StubHub or Ticketmaster, and both those companies are very different. StubHub is a secondary market platform. That's where scalpers are listing all their tickets. Ticketmaster or other sites like Access or C-Tickets, these other companies, these are the event holders selling the ticket. So anytime you go to StubHub, you have a much higher likelihood of overpaying for the ticket.
Okay, so that's a resale market then.
Exactly. StubHub, Vivid Seats, SeatGeek, those are all resale marketplaces. So when you go to a resale marketplace, you know you're overpaying.
So if I go to a Ticketmaster and I want to go see the Guns, little Guns and the Three Crickets over at the Beer Mesa Bowl,
Yes, perfect. On tour soon.
am I able to these days, as the concert's being announced, wherever it's being announced, go buy front row seats if I wanted to, or do I not have a chance because of those ticket brokers?
So it's tough to get a shot at it because these guys are using all kinds of bots to cut the lines. And then there's other things that artists are doing which then drive up the price. And the artists, like I'm a lifelong artist defender, but the artists are seeing these outsiders come in and jack up the prices and buy them all and make literally billions of dollars. So the ticket scalper industry is over $10 billion a year private equity backed business. So these people, the artists are pissed off. So the artists now are raising the prices sometimes so that at least if a fan is going to overspend, that the artist makes the money and reinvest it in the show. So it's good for the community of live music, but it sucks for the fan that we're raising the prices to stop the scalpers from making an arbitrage opportunity.
What's interesting about that is if you talk about arbitrage opportunity, you talk about scalpers. I thought scalpers were the guys that were selling counterfeit tickets. That's not the case. Scalpers are overcharging and doing onerous, fees for something that I could literally go in the aftermarket on a legitimate site. Is that correct?
It's correct, but what I will say is these scalpers both are selling real and fake tickets. There's a whole set of scalpers that call themselves short sellers, and they're exactly what you think they are. They sell the tickets high, sometimes before the show is even on sale, because StubHub will list tickets before the show is even on sale to the general public on Ticketmaster. So they sell high, and then as you get closer to the show date, people's plans change, and they want to dump their tickets, and they use bots to pick up all those tickets that people list, and then they buy them low after selling them high. I mean, you got to give them credit. It's brilliant, but it takes advantage of the fans.
Randy, stay there for a second. I want to talk about what they're doing in Congress about it. I want to talk about what they're doing to protect the consumer.
Yep,
right?
it's gone all the way to the top. Donald Trump's involved now. We got a lot happening.
It's
right
behind
here.
the scenes.
Woo!
Everything you didn't know about the music business. Apparently, StubHub's not a great place for new tickets.
All right. Welcome back to Behind the Scene. Everything you didn't know about the music business. I'm Guns. We're joined by, of course, my main man Sully over there, and the legend himself, Dickie Bear from the Mighty Bosstones, having an absolute blast at the Loft 100 Studios here in San Diego, in front of a lot of our friends. We're actually speaking here with Randy Nichols, longtime band manager. He's been part of the Starting Line, Say Anything, Under Oath, has been able to build bands from literally living rooms to sold out arenas all across the globe. And he's also part of the National Talent Organization, which is NITO. There you go. National Independent Talent Organization. And he's actually been taking the fight for why ticket prices are so expensive and what the fan can do about it all the way down to Capitol Hill. And there's been a lot going on down here. And Randy, I know you can explain a little bit more about this, about the fact that even President Trump has been against some of the scalpers out there. Saw him with Kid Rock in the Oval Office. Talk to us about this and what Congress is doing, and will anything change in the near future, my friend?
Yeah, so I think things may actually change, which is hard to believe, but it still feels really positive. And we've got things going on both at the state level as well as federally. Federally, it's tough to get things through, but we've got a bunch of states like Maine, Maryland, Washington, D.C., who have tomorrow in New Jersey, we have a bill that we're fighting that the scalpers are trying to actually pass to make it worse for fans, which you have both going on all the time. But what happened, which is interesting, is during COVID, thankfully, the Congress granted some money to music venues to keep them alive and not all go out of business due to being closed for a year and a half. And through that moment, a lot of people in Congress got to meet the real people in the music business. When they met them versus the scalpers that had been lobbying them for years, they're learning that they made a bunch of laws that are hurting the fans. And there's a true desire from these legislators to undo a lot of the bad work they've done over the past 2 decades.
I think what's interesting here is it got to the point where you actually had to bring Congress in to do just what's right in terms of ticket prices. And what I mean by that, and this is no diss on artists, but you started hearing about artists about 15 years ago saying, look, you're not going to charge $300 for a ticket when we're only charging $55 for a ticket. What changed there? Why aren't more artists getting involved? Or is it just because they really just don't have any say?
You know, it's tough because, one, the artists aren't as educated as you'd think on this problem. And the artists are busy trying to be artists. Now they have to run social media. They're leading their marketing campaigns. There's more and more put on the artists to do. And now they need to fix the ticketing problem. And the ticketing problem is incredibly difficult because technically a ticketing contract for a concert is between the venue and the ticketing company. The artist is just caught in the crossfire. So whether you're Taylor Swift or Guns Band or Dickies Band, the Bosstones, we're all stuck in the same spot where the ticketing company isn't our decision. So if it's not our decision, we can't really force change that easily.
So wait a second, I have a question. So just for folks that don't understand the business, talk about how the transaction's done. You've got an event promoter, you've got bands that he wants to bring into the event, you've got people that are going to sell tickets to the event, and then you've got obviously the artists that are going to get paid to be at the event. How does all that work together? What does the landscape look like for the normal Johnny Lunchbucket, Cindy CEO that's just buying a ticket and going through the front gate? I'm just thinking of buying a ticket and it's all coming up because there's pixie dust in the air. But what's the real mechanics of it all?
Yeah, so the best way to explain this is everybody thinks that as a fan, they're the customer of Ticketmaster or Access. And at the end of the day, the customer is the venue who signs a contract with them. These venues actually get paid a huge advance by the ticketing company to be their partners. Then that ticket fee that we all pay, which is some exorbitant fee where we're angry we're paying to Ticketmaster, 3/4 of that is going to the venue, even though it says Ticketmaster fee. And through all of that, it's an entire system built to make Ticketmaster the bad guy. And not that I'm trying to defend them, it's just how the system's been developed. They're the bad guy. We as a fan aren't mad at the venue for all these expenses. We blame Ticketmaster. But a lot of these fees are honestly keeping these venues, these small venues that we all go to, in business. But at the end of the day, the key point for what you asked is the fan is not actually the customer of the ticketing company. So the ticketing company is not thinking about them in every part of the purchase relationship. And the fan kind of is hurt in that process because of it.
You know, what I thought was interesting is everyone remembers the Taylor Swift situation. Taylor Swift tickets go on sale and it was a disaster. Ticketmaster kept crashing. You had kids crying, and I joked that it was the first time that both Republicans and Democrats could agree on something within Congress, because you literally had Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio, and then AOC were all everyone just was going after Ticketmaster. That doesn't happen, but that just shows that everybody is affected by these outlandish and outrageous ticketing prices. So, Randy, if you were going to say, if there was a big bad wolf character here, who would that be in your eyes?
Yeah, in my eyes, the big bad wolf is the multi-billion-dollar ticket scalping industry. These are people who are siphoning money out of local communities as well as artists' pockets and fans' pockets, and taking this money to buy yachts and private jets. They are the worst of the worst. You've got Ticketmaster and Live Nation. We've all got our varying issues with them, but they reinvest that money in producing events. Scalpers do not put a dime of the money they make into producing live events. So if I've got to pick the worst of the worst, it is always going to be the person who is just, sucking our money out from everyone in the system and hurting them. And this stuff hurts everyone all the way down to the local restaurant owner in a neighborhood. If Dickie, for his old hometown throwdown shows, was selling tickets for $20 and scalpers were selling them for $100 and fans bought them all, they may not be able to go out to dinner upstairs at the Middle East before the show because they spent so much money on the ticket. So it hurts everyone in the whole ecosystem. As you can tell, Dickie, I'm a fan of your
I'd like
band.
to think, Randy, this is great stuff, and I'm really being educated by all of this, and dumbly had no idea that it was going on to this extent. And I'd like to think that Congress has bigger fish to fry than Taylor Swift ticket prices. But here we are. What I would like to know is, what can we do? What can we do as artists, and what can we do as people that are buying, as consumers as well? Like, what's the answer here?
The answer is to apply pressure on both your state and federal legislators when you hear of laws coming up to support them. And, we'll be doing a bunch of press later in the year when hopefully the Ticket Act or the Main Event Act, these are two bills that have been floating around in the Senate, hopefully get put back on the docket. The Ticket Act, we got passed in the House, but is sitting in the Senate waiting to get through. State level, we're trying to rally people state by state. And what I can say for you as an artist and many other artists is there's one big organization called Fix the Ticks. It's the Fix the Ticks Coalition. We're 20 plus different organizations that represent everyone from agents to artist managers to club owners to performing arts centers. And we're all working together to lobby to change these laws. So if anyone wants to go to fixtheticks, I believe it's .org, you can find out a bunch more information there. And we want more people to understand this, get involved, and get vocal. And to go to what Sully was saying earlier, like, why aren't the artists involved? I consider Dickie a very educated artist, but he doesn't understand the problem. And I've spent the last 2 years going deep in and researching to understand how the problem actually works, so that I could educate my fellow musicians and managers so that we could actually fix the problem. Because previously we were just kind of screaming at the sky, hoping it would change rather than understanding what the problem was.
Hey, Randy, one last question before we let you get out of here. We're talking about the music business, but is it the same in theater? Is it the same in sports? Is it rampant all across? Is this one argument, one problem?
Yeah, it's rampant everywhere. But the thing that I will say is, in sports, it's a little bit different. Sports teams, when they build a new stadium, they sell something called a PSL, physical seat license. So somebody buys a season ticket ownership and they sort of own their seat. So I believe that those people have a little bit more of a right to be able to sell their seat for whatever they want. If they had to pay, the Buffalo Bills are one of the teams right now building a new stadium, and they have this exorbitant price for the right to own your seat. And if you own your seat, I think you've got a little bit more right to sell these things. But overall, yes, this problem is across the board everywhere, and in the smallest clubs to the biggest arenas. A lot of people go, oh, I'm a small band. It's not happening to us. It's happening to the bands playing 300 capacity venues all the way up to the biggest stadiums, because an arbitrage opportunity is an arbitrage opportunity. And if you can automate the purchases and sales, it doesn't matter to you if it's a big show or a small show.
Randy, I got a quick question for you outside of the whole entire ticketing thing. You've been great and really appreciate you coming on. Next year, if you had one wish for the music industry in general, whether it could be AI being evolved or Spotify's got to share revenue, change their revenue sharing model or more, what do you hope happens within the music industry besides the rock and ska resurgence, of course, that we were all seeing right now?
Damn right.
And the mighty Bosstones reuniting, goddammit. What would one thing be that you hope to see that could actually come through next year, do you believe?
Yeah, I won't wish for a Bosstones reunion because things get complicated. I've been a manager for a long time, so I won't put that pressure on you. But
Thank
by the
you,
way,
Randy.
Dickie, I did book you in college at CW Post College in about 1991. And
Do
you
I
guys
need to
were freaking
apologize
amazing.
for that show, or was it successful?
I might need to apologize. We had kids crowd surfing on the crowd on
I
the
remember the
stage.
CW Post show. That was
It was
you?
wild. Yeah, that was me. So I might need to apologize to you.
Hey,
it was pretty crazy.
you've been an excellent guest. Once again, fixthetix.org would be the
Yep.
place if you really want to get involved in this.
Awesome. And there it is
Absolutely.
up there. There we go.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Awesome, guys.
Randy Nichols right there, of course. NITO, National Independent Talent Organization. Dickie Barrett, Mighty Bosstones. My man Sully right there. I'm Guns from the Gun Show. This is Behind the Scene, live from the Laughlin Studios in San Diego, baby.